There are some exercises that you do, and the moment you do them, your whole body goes, oh my God, this is amazing. There's a few exercises that come to mind right away, and one of them I did today. It's like your whole soul goes, please do this more. Today I did the dumbbell pullovers. Forget about like bodybuilding and strength and all of that. Man, this exercise feels like it is reversing 1,000 years of postural defects. It just feels like it's opening up everything that needs to be opened up. It's like reversing gravity. It really feels like that. It's such a stretch. Like, in the morning you wake up and you have a stretch. Well, what do? Well, you stick your hands up and you kind of like arch your back and you look up and you wave your hands around a little bit or whatever. It's all about like stretching out that thoracic spine, that neck area, like just undoing the kyphosis. Kyphosis is that rounding shoulder, rounding thoracic spine. So when we stretch out, like, just imagine a cat stretching. They stretch a million times a day. Well, it's like you're removing all of that bad positioning that you've been before. This is what it feels like when I do dumbbell pullovers. It just feels freaking amazing. There's another few exercises that I've done that feel similar. Another one is dumbbell flies. So you lie flat on the bench and you let that dumbbell go to the side. You feel like your whole chest is opening up. So there's a link here, right? One exercise, the dumbbell pullover, has your hands raising up with weight in your hand, and it's kind of like unscrewing you from the thoracic spine, right? It's all opening all of that chest area up. And then with the dumbbell flies, you feel like the whole damn rib cage is going to just open up like a book. These two things feel amazing, and I think they feel amazing because we spend so much time rounded over. So much of our work, life, existence is about using our hands in front of us, which is looking down, rolling shoulders forward and doing whatever the hell we're doing, whether we're working on cars, on humans or computers or whatever your job is, you're working in front of you with your hands. So to have an exercise like this, where you are literally ripping apart all of that contracted tissue, it feels orgasmic, man. It just feels amazing. A third exercise that I've done in my life that feels freaking amazing is that couch stretch. I'm not even that good at it. I've had my wife do this hip flexor stretch for me. So like I lay on the bed. I know it's a good start to the story, isn't it? And one of my feet goes to her shoulder, and another one, the other leg, she pins her. This is going to be hard to explain. Pins her knee to my knee. It's kind of like doing a lunge, in a weird way, but essentially it's a hip flexor stretch. And because one leg is pinned up to her shoulder and the other one's underneath, it just pins my pelvis and I don't round my back in any way. It's all hip flexor stretch. That to me also feels like, wow. It's literally like pulling apart something that's been so contracted for so long. So those three things feel unbelievable to me. You can't get enough of it. And it's weird because those three exercises haven't been part of my regiment at all. They have not been a big part of my life. And I don't know why that is. It's kind of like, the pullovers do this, that, the other. I remember the first time I did pullovers after a long, long time not doing them, like 5 years or so, was earlier this year, and I did them. And, when I was doing them, I was like, wow, this is freaking amazing. Same thing, right? It's an amazing stretch. And then the following day, I wake up, and my triceps was so freaking sore from those dumbbell pullovers. I couldn't believe it, man. And my triceps not even working. I'm just resisting the weight. Like my elbows are not moving. Mate, I was sore for 7 days straight. And I spoke about it on those videos. I was like, I can't believe how sore I am. So when you're doing the pullovers, you're like, oh, that's a lot of lat. That's a lot of lat. That's a lot of that. And then you get to like the later part of that first set, and you're like, my God, my chest freaking is on fire as well. What the hell's wrong with the chest? Why is the chest working like this? It's like upper pec region. Well, I don't even know what freaking part of the pec it hurts. Something is burning. And so these dumbbell pullovers have you wrecking your triceps, stretching your lats, and working your pecs. Like, my God, man. Like, this is crazy stuff. Like, now we're talking about an exercise that's amazing, even on a bodybuilding level. I mean, think about how many things this thing is doing, man. And it's doing it in such a long range of motion. And this is a common thread in my thoughts recently. You know, I'm doing the split squats because it's a long exercise. The glutes are worked in the long state, unlike the hip thrusts, which are very, very short exercises. So the muscles are not being challenged at the end range. It's being challenged at the shortest range, at the lockout, which is kind of weird. It's different. These exercises that I've listed, and you can probably put split squats in there, that are like really wrecking you and producing so much freaking soreness, is because it's a long exercise, kind of like RDLs. That's another freaking big one. RDLs murder your hamstrings, and you're sore for a week. So there's a whole host of these exercises that stretch us while also train the muscle. So it's kind of like that PNF stretching business on steroids, really. It's PNF stretching on steroids because there's weight on top of it. PNF stretching is usually when you are just slightly contracting a muscle that you're stretching. And PNF stands for proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. It was born out of physios and working with stroke victims and like, you know, just like spinal cord injuries, and then you get a lot of contractures and whatnot. And so these people were trying to find new ways of elongating that tissue and muscle. And I don't know what the guy's name is, but he came up with this idea where you stretch the muscle, then you ask the patient to contract that muscle that's being stretched fully. And apparently there's much more lasting effects on that tissue rather than just statically stretching something, which in my experience, I feel like it's damn near waste of time. In my experience, I just feel like the following day I come back to that muscle, I'm in the same level that I left it at. There's just no benefits, it seems, which I'm sure I'm wrong about that. It's just, that's my experience. But these exercises, man, you do them, you're like, wow. And so now I'm thinking to myself, next time I do my chest, you know, the bench pressing, I'm going to just throw in just super light, man. I'll take like 2.5 kilos or whatever, whatever, just something really, really light, something that's going to add enough force for me to like stretch my pecs out, stretch my chest out. And I reckon these exercises are best done at the end of the workout, because as I was walking out of the gym, I'm like, wow, dude, like my posture's amazing. I've stretched all of those pecs and those thoracic spine. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that. I was breathing easier. My breathing improved because of a freaking exercise. How many exercises out there can you say that? Your freaking breathing improves. It's just posture. It's posture. It's literally taking that thoracic spine and all the other associated crap with kyphotic posture and just ripping it apart. Not ripping it, but like stretching it apart. Feels freaking amazing. So you do the pullovers, you do the pec flies, and you do a bit of hip flexor stretching. To me, those are the things that I need to fight on a daily basis. Short ass hip flexors, short pecs, and just like kyphotic. That's not a bigger problem as the hip flexors are, clearly. But the upper body stuff feels amazing, man. I feel like my blood pressure is even lower. I'm not kidding when I say this stuff. I'm trying to not exaggerate this stuff. I don't know, man. I just feel calm. I feel happy. I feel rested. You know, a lot of times you train and you finish the training session, you feel like you're all locked up and tight and whatever. Well, this is the answer, man. You finish off with some of these exercises and you freaking walk out like you haven't even trained. You feel like relaxed. It's bizarre, man. Anyway, guys. Appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.